Any gardeners in the room? No one likes to garden? Like, does anyone grow plants? Oh boy, this analogy is gonna fall flat. I met Julie, or Jen actually first, and then Julie, but Jen about 5 years ago, and I would say she was like a rosebud that was getting ready to bloom, and social media was the fertilizer that helped her discover herself. And it's pretty amazing to see where she went from sitting quiet at a coffee table in a meeting 5 years ago to now she's one of our speakers. And this could happen to you. This kind of what social media is doing in terms of getting platforms for people to develop their voice and get it out there to the world, to me, is profound. I love working with Jen and Julie. They're part of the Digital Wichita team. They do amazing things here in Wichita. They're actually part of the team that I'm with Social Media Examiner, putting on a conference out in San Diego called Social Media Marketing World. But today, they are your speakers, and they're going to talk to you not just about messenger marketing, which is what we advertise, but they're going to talk to you about how do you strategically build community, which is what Facebook has said is the thing you've got to do if you want to be discovered and seen in social media. They're going to talk about 3 different ways to do it. But would you guys give a warm Wichita welcome to Jen and Julie?
I'm Julie Riley, and we're Clicked Media. Today we're going to be talking about using social media to build your community and engage your audience. This is one of our favorite things in the whole wide world. We love our people. We love you, Wichita, so very much. And so we're so excited to teach you guys today all about the things that we're passionate about.
So today we're going to go into a handful of topics for you that will help you not only build your community, but nurture and grow your community and stay engaged with them. Your community on Facebook is going to be your lifeblood. It's going to be the people who are going to get to know you, like you, trust you, buy from you, visit your store, purchase your online product, donate to your nonprofit, whatever that is. By building this community, these are the people that are going to come back to you time and time again.
So, today we're going to be talking about why it's important, because it's very important. And we're going to talk to you about messenger marketing, which is a fantastic way to kind of step away from the laptop, step away from your phone, feel unchained, and live either your business life or your professional life or your personal life. We're going to talk about strengthening your community bonds within Facebook groups, which is a lot of fun. And also, one of our favorites in the whole wide world, we're going to be talking about building community through Facebook Live. And we also have tools for how to make that awesome. Don't push the button. Oh my gosh. But do, you have to push the button. Okay, so we'll be talking to you all about tools on how to make this easy. So, push the button. You're fired.
Okay, why is engaged community so important? Shout it out. Tell me some reasons why it's important to have an engaged community, other than what we've already told you.
It is not the button. I didn't push the button. It is just not. Bullshit! So yes, I heard the Facebook algorithm, and I heard friendships. What are some other reasons? Trust. Yes. Because we all want to be a part of people that we trust. We don't want to walk into a store. We don't want to give somebody money if we don't trust them. We don't want to.
Go to the other mic, if you will.
Testing.
Okay. Thank you.
We don't want to interact with those people that we don't trust. Do you hang out with friends that you don't trust? No. So we want to be a part of communities that we trust.
We got this all set up. and huger focus on fostering meaningful conversations and quality time spent on your page. It's more crucial than ever to really nurture these conversations that are happening not only on your Facebook page, make this happen on Instagram, make this happen on Twitter, make this happen everywhere, because when you do this everywhere, you're gonna form a habit. And also, something else that's gonna happen is you're really going to start enjoying it because you're gonna see the benefits that come through when you're nurturing your online conversations and your online community. So it's a great way to keep your online community alive. It's a great way to always be in the conversations with the people that follow you, the people that love you, the people that maybe don't even know much about you yet, but want to know more about you. If you're silent on social media, this is a huge missed opportunity to build an experience around your brand.
It is, but I want to know from you, when you first got on social media, did you get on social media to run a business? Or what was your reason for getting on social media? Somebody shout it out.
Connect with friends.
Friends, family, exactly. We did not get on social media to be sold to. So there are ways to build your communities to where you can still interact with your audience. You can still sell to your audience, but it's going to feel natural. It's going to feel organic, and it is not going to feel like a flashing neon billboard in your face, because nobody wants to see that. When you're at home in the evening scrolling through your social media channels, are you stopping on the sales ad that says 20% off? Or are you stopping on the cute cat video? Or your friend's kids' pictures? Anybody?
Let's scroll stopping.
What are you stopping?
Puppy videos.
Puppy videos. Yes, we're stopping on the things that give us emotion, the things that tell a story, as Mary said. We're being a part of those communities. We don't want to be sold to with a billboard.
All right, guys. So just like on Google, where everything is all about user experience, how many of you are familiar with how Google works? Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's good. So back in the day, when I started getting into the whole digital marketing realm of things, I worked for the Wichita Eagle, and I worked for a guy named Tony Berg, and he drilled Google into my head so hard that I really got a great understanding for how this whole thing works, and it's been absolutely amazing. But the thing is, if you understand how Google works, you're also going to understand how Facebook works, and it's all about the user experience. And when people are spending more time on your pages, people are spending more time with you, people are coming back and interacting with the different things that you do, the different types of content that you post, Facebook sees your page as more valuable to people's time. And so, can you guess what Facebook is going to do when they see your page as being more valuable for people's time?
Rank it.
They're going to rank it. That's right, Patty. They are going to rank it. They are going to reward you with more reach and more visibility. So it's all about user experience. It's entirely important to keep that in mind, because you want to make your community happy. You want to be where people can hang out, where people want to hang out.
How do we get people to hang out with us? What are some ideas? What do you think?
Be cool. Be cool.
Anyone?
Engage with them. Collaborate.
Collaborate.
Add value.
Add value. What?
Tell a story.
Right.
Exactly.
It's a great way to get people to want to hang out with you. When you're adding value, you're entertaining them, you're educating them, and you're just maybe even being a little bit silly with them. They want to hang out with you.
Okay, guys, we're gonna go into how we do all of
The
this.
meat, if you will.
Messenger marketing. How many of you have a chatbot on your Facebook page?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a handful. I'm really excited about that. Messenger marketing is a little bit newer, and a lot of people are still learning it and figuring it out. And we're going to go into a little bit deeper what it is. But it's going to help you keep your community engaged while you sleep. Do we like sleep?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love sleep.
Do we like to spend time with our family? Do we want to be tied to our business Facebook page 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? Or do we want to be able to step away?
Step away.
Step away.
That's great. All right. How many of you have a Facebook group for your brand? Oh, that's wonderful. So we're gonna dive into why that's important, because when you create a Facebook page, you create a place for your community to grow together and experience your brand together. And not only that, to collaborate. And I can't wait to dive into that a little bit deeper here in a little while. And then finally,
Who has gone on Facebook Live for their brand? Excellent.
we have some fun.
Yes. So Facebook Live is a perfect way to build an audience, to regularly communicate with them, and to engage back with them. So what is messenger marketing? Before I go into what messenger marketing is, I'm going to tell you what it's not. It is not AI. It is not artificial intelligence. It is not smart and learning, and it's not going to be this miraculous tool that's going to suddenly jump in and be your fix for your business. It is only as smart as you made it. You have to write the messenger marketing. You have to create the conversations. How many of you remember when you were a kid, the books that you read, that you got to page 5 and it said, if you want to slay a dragon, turn to page 25, and if you want to save the princess, turn to page 50, and you had to choose one. And then you turned to that page and the story continued from there. This is essentially what messenger marketing is. You are creating a journey and a path for your audience to follow along. You can start with the questions that your business is getting asked and create that journey and that path for your audience to be able to engage with you. You're going to be able to take them through create these responses. So it's going to increase your response time. Facebook is going to show that to your audience, that your response time on Messenger is much higher because that response time is going to be instant according to Facebook. It's going to show the algorithms by that response time that you are an engaged page, which is going to rank you higher and have you shown more often. So high quality chatbots will take you through this flow. And the way you do this is there's so many options, but you can start with even just your basic welcome message. You come to our page and we have a bot that says, "Hi, I'm Pixelbot. I'm Depict Media's friendly bot assistant." I tell them they're talking to a bot. I don't want them to think they're talking to a human. If they think they're talking to a human and they realize later it's a bot, they're going to be very frustrated. You want them to know this is not a human. It's not going to answer every question they can possibly ask. But you give them the ability to speak to a human if they want. Ours says, "Hey, Jen and Julie are out right now, but if you need to talk to them, just type human, and I'll let them know that you need them." So it will pass the bot off to us, and we get an alert that says, "Hey, somebody needs to talk to you." But through that, I can also take them through a journey of questions they can get answered. What are your hours? What is your website? How do I find out more information about how to hire you as a speaker? How do I schedule an appointment with you? I use an online scheduling tool and I have it linked into our bot so they can schedule an appointment with us right then and there through our bot and get that taken care of. They don't have to wait. There is nothing more frustrating to a user experience than having to wait for an answer. I have messaged restaurants before because I wanted to know what their daily special is. They didn't post it on their page. So I want to know, do I really want to come there today? What's your soup of the day? 7 hours later, I've gotten a response. I wasn't hungry then. I was hungry 7 hours ago. I wanted to know 7 hours ago what the special was. It does me no good 7 hours later to find out that response. By then I've eaten, probably 2 or 3 times. I'm not coming in to see them. If you can get people those answers instantly, it's going to help get people through your door. It's going to help people feel like you care about them and you're providing that value. You're going to be able to give them these informational pieces of data and tracking. So on the back end of Messenger, there are tags that you can provide to your users. So I can also tag my users who have come in and inquired about the daily special. And now, when I go to put out the daily special, I can go ahead and say, hey, these people are interested in my daily special, and I'm gonna send them a notice that says, here's what my daily special is. I know that that's information they have been interested in. We can track people who say, I wanted to learn more about Pick Media as speakers. And we can send them more information later and say, here's some new things we have. Here's some new talks that we're talking about. We have done one for a pet store that was doing a registration for a grooming class. Through that grooming class, I was able to tag people who had registered for that class. Later on, if they came back and interacted with the bot for that registration, I would be able to say, hey, I see that you've already registered for this class. Did you get the email we sent you with the directions? If they say yes, then I say, great, then we look forward to seeing you at this date and time. If they say no, I'm able to turn around and go, I'm so sorry about that. Let us get that sent right back out to you. It's providing that information in a real-time basis. So the whole point of this is to anticipate what your audience needs. You like to have your questions answered quickly, right?
Yes, I do.
So you're going to be able to anticipate this. You're going to be able to get this information in their hands quickly. And know this, the best way to do this is think about all the frequently asked questions that your business gets and create answers to those inside of the messenger marketing. You can set it up with tags. So if somebody even types a question, if they don't follow the process, those tags will grab those questions and say, hey, they said hours. I should tell them what my hours are. They said location. I can tell them what my location is. There are plugins into this that you can then immediately say, okay, I see you asked about the location. Do you want directions to the store? They're gonna go, yeah, and it's a plugin that takes you straight through Google Maps that will immediately say, here's directions to the store. Are you ready to start moving there now? And you can hit the start, and now on your Google Maps, you have turn-by-turn GPS directions. So take those pieces, take those questions that your audience is constantly asking you, and use those to engage back with them. This is going to create you and have you seen as a resource for your audience. They now know you, they like you, and they're going to trust you because you are a valuable resource providing that information back to them quickly. And we're going to talk about open rates real quick. So we have email marketing. Email marketing is not dead, and we love email marketing. But email marketing can be a little frustrating. How many of you do email marketing? Send out e-blasts, newsletters?
Nice job.
Awesome. Generally, and I would love if somebody has higher stats, but on average, the national average for open rate on email marketing is around 23% open rate. That's not very high. The average click-through rate is 3%. That's painfully low. Messenger marketing is on your Facebook Messenger. It puts that annoying little red dot on your phone and that annoying little red dot on your desktop on the Messenger. We all like that little red dot to go away. On our email, that red dot for most people is never going away. I know some people who have upwards of 20,000 unopened emails. I'm looking at you, Patty. That red dot's never going away. But on Messenger, it's easy to make that red dot go away. And we don't want it there. So we're going to go open that message that we got from somebody. We're then going to look at it. As soon as we start clicking through in the messengers, it's going to take you through that flow. And if you've built that journey out correctly, people are going to interact with it. The thing is your bot can have personality. It can be witty, it can be snarky, it can be funny, it can be just basic informational. It is however you want it to be for your business. So give it life and give it personality. And with that, you still want to collect those email addresses though, because here's the thing. At the end of the day, Facebook is rented ground. It's terrifying. I love Facebook, and I would cry if it vanished. There is nothing from stopping them to pull the plug one day. Your emails though, you own those. When you've collected those email addresses, they're your property at this point. Now people can opt out of them still, but that is your list. So there are ways inside of Messenger to still build your list, to naturally collect it and say, hey, I'm so glad you were interested in this. Before we move forward, can I get your email address from you? Or give them a freebie. Say, I've got a Facebook Live checklist. And if you provide us your email, we'll provide you with this free Facebook Live checklist. It's as simple as just giving them a little something, and they'll give you that back. And now you have that email collected to still use over here. And acknowledge your customers. There are so many ways within the Messenger bot system to still reach out to your audience and acknowledge them. So don't be intimidated by the fact that a bot is not a human. Amazingly enough, it is still a great way to build your community and engage with them. So now we're going to talk about Facebook groups because they are growing and they are so powerful for your business.
Oh gosh, they are. So, how many of you guys went to camp when you were younger? Did you guys go to camp? Did you guys have groups when you were at camp? Did you have your camp groups that you hung out with throughout the summer, through the week? At my church camp, we had groups. And the cool thing about our groups was these were the people that we shared most of our camping experience with. This is the people that we did devotionals with. This is the people that we shared more intimate details of our lives with. And we grew together and we experienced things together, and it was tremendous. And I still am in touch with a lot of these people, and it's been phenomenal throughout my life. So, Facebook groups can be a similar experience to build a community around your brand. And wouldn't we all like that? To have that warm, fuzzy feeling about your brand, or maybe if you're Wendy's, you want to have the ha 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 behind your brand, because that's really cool too. And what they're doing on Twitter is absolutely phenomenal. Man, have they built a tribe, and that's kind of fun. But we're going to talk about Facebook groups and how awesome they are right now, and we are hugely inspired by one of our very good friends, Bella Vasta, and we love what she says about this because it's absolutely the truth. When you think about your Facebook group, you want to be the destination. And that is a really powerful thing to think about, but if you can make that the destination for where your followers want to go and experience your brand together, and maybe not even quite experience your brand together, but experience each other together, that is a powerful thing, and that's what we do at Destinations. So with that, we're going to introduce Bella for just a quick minute so you guys can kind of hear what she says about Facebook groups.
Hey Wichita, Bella Vasta here from sunny Scottsdale, Arizona. I just thought I would pop in and tell you, did you know that you can build a big community with Facebook groups? Facebook groups are the bomb. You can actually build your influence in there. You can use it to increase your revenue. You can do it to just network. Facebook groups are an amazing community builder, and you should totally check it out. This is Bella Vasta from bellavasta.com. Have fun, Wichita.
We love Bella. She's amazing, and she has inspired us a whole lot to nurture our own Facebook groups and to teach our clients how to do this for themselves too. So Facebook groups provide a more intimate space for you to engage with the other people in your community. So it's kind of a comfort zone. It's kind of a security blanket type of things, because how many of you are comfortable on a Facebook page being the first person to comment on a question? Does that just make you really nervous? I know sometimes it makes me really nervous, especially depending on the subject matter. But when you get to know the other community members, kind of like what we're doing today, we're hanging, we're networking, we're getting to know each other, and I feel like this is a pretty amazing Wichita community in and of itself. Potentially a Facebook group. How cool would that be? So, but and experiencing something around something else, aren't you a little more willing to share some of the other experiences and other opinions and perspectives that you have in your life? Because you trust these people. You trust the people that are within your circle. And so that's the cool thing that Facebook groups do around your brand if you do it the right way. So, we have some new algorithm facts that actually just broke last week. So, because leave it to Facebook, leave it to our industry. Social media changes literally, every day. So, it does. But this is some new research that just broke this last week, and so it's really important for you to think about because this relates to not only your Facebook group, but it also relates to your page too. So they want to know, Facebook is watching how long someone has followed your page or been a part of the group. So they're looking at longevity here. How dedicated to your brand are these people? They've been sticking around, they keep coming back and engaging, and that's pretty amazing. That means you're doing something right. And so these are the people that are going to start seeing more of your content. These are the people that are also going to start, most likely, engaging even more. Also, it's looking into how often someone engages with your page or your group. So first off, how many of you guys know what engagement means? Can you shout out examples of engagement for me, please?
Likes, comments, shares.
You guys did all of it. Thank you. You like, you comment, you share. That's right. That is engaging, and that's really powerful stuff, especially if you can get someone to share your stuff. That means they feel so personally touched by what you have shared that they have to share it with their community as well, and that is super valuable. Also, how often does your page or your group post? Are they just kind of vanished from back into the background? Are they vampires? You can't see them. They don't really feel like talking to you, or they don't really feel like looking at you or engaging with you at all? Or are they really engaging? Are they posting what they've been doing this week? Who in the community they've been interacting with this week? Are they sharing history about, their company or their brand? Are they sharing FAQs? Are they adding value on a consistent basis? Facebook factors all of this stuff into, and then when you're doing all of these three things, when Facebook sees all of these three things coming together and aligning, you're going to show up higher in the ranking, and you're going to be more visible to more people because Facebook sees you as worthy of other people's time. So, guys, these are some really important questions to ask yourself. How many of you feel frustrated sometimes when you just can't think of what to post? Does this happen? I know it even happens to us sometimes. But here's the thing. Every single thing that you put in your Facebook group, we're going to dive back into Facebook groups right now. Everything that you post, anywhere, needs to have a purpose. Because if people aren't coming and engaging with your content, you're going to become invisible. You don't want to just slap crap up on a wall and expect it to stick, because guess what? It's not going to. When you do that, what happens is people don't interact with your brand because they find it boring and they don't understand why you would ever say that. Have you ever been in a situation where when you're like, why did they say that? It doesn't make any sense. It's awkward. I don't want to interact with that. And so what happens when people don't interact with your stuff on a consistent basis, you become more and more and more invisible. People can't see you anymore, and that's terrible. So you need to always have a goal. Think about what kind of content your audience finds valuable. What you should know your audience so well that you already know the kind of stuff that they love. What do they need to know? Kind of like what Julie mentioned a little bit ago about the FAQs. That's important information. Your audience is already calling you on the phone, asking you these questions. Why don't you provide the answer before they even ask it? Do that in your Facebook group. Create conversations about this in your Facebook group. Also, what sets you apart as a brand? We all have competition. That's just how the business life is. That's how the whole entire world is. We all compete in different capacities. But what sets you apart? What makes you funny? What makes you engaging? What makes you worthy of anyone's time? You need to think about that. And if you can't think of something that sets you apart, you need to come up with something. entertaining. Think of a way to be overly educational, be consistent, always be providing them value. So then that, in and of itself, can set you apart. Because if you're always there for someone when they have a question, that sets you apart. That makes you appear and be more genuine. Because if you feel more genuine, you're going to be more genuine. And that's just how the world works.
I also want to share, and we heard Mary say this, don't be afraid to ask your community what they want to hear from you.
Yes.
We go in all the time and we've said, hey, what are some things from us that you'd love to learn more about? Throw a poll in there and get your audience to tell you what they want to hear more about. They'll let you know. You know, they'll say, we asked them, do you want to hear more about groups, messenger marketing, Facebook Live? In this case, we were dividing them up into different things, not putting them into one presentation. But at that point, our audience engaged with us and told us what they were looking to learn more about. It's a great tool to get that information back from them. And then right then and there, you know what content you need to be putting out for them.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about pages versus groups right now. So, your Facebook page is your front line. Everybody in the public can see this. Anybody can come by your page and scour through it and see what in the world it is that you have going on. They can window shop your brand. I mean, that's a pretty good term for this. That's literally what they're doing. They're window shopping your Facebook page to see what you have to offer them. What does your food look like if you are a restaurant? What do your clothes look like if you're a retail shop, Patty? What is your aesthetic? Does this fit me? Is this my style? Would I like to eat this? Would I like to hire this person to mow my lawn? Let's see some examples of what they've done before. This is your Facebook page. This is front facing. Now, when you go into the Facebook group, as Bella would say, you're stepping into the backyard. You're stepping into the pool party, the cookout. It's a lot more intimate. It's a wonderful opportunity to really dive in and connect with people. Hey. Call me maybe. It's a really great place for people to dive a little bit deeper with you and each other, like I mentioned before. So Facebook groups are a phenomenal place to build that experience around your brand. Anything to add? No. You good? Okay. All right, so there are some great ways to do this. Facebook provides a lot of options for posting content in Facebook groups. And it's so much fun because then when you choose different ways to post your content, nobody gets bored. They're like, oh my gosh, what are these guys doing today? And why do they want to know this about me? Do I feel like sharing? Oh yeah, I trust these people. This is my tribe. I'm going to share. So one thing that is, a great idea to do, and a lot of you probably already do this, let's hope, engaging questions, kind of like what we're doing up here. How many of you guys are already doing engaging questions within your Facebook group? That is great. That is awesome because when you do this, you're opening the floodgates to get more information, more conversations about things that have to do with your brand. And so not only are you nurturing your audience when you do this, you're making them feel important, but you're also getting really valuable feedback. The more you know about your audience, the more you can relate back to them and the more valuable they feel as a part of your community. Now, the next option is polls. And we like to do a little something fun. Has nothing to do with our brand actually, but it's definitely a lot of fun. And this is a wonderful example of how you can just be a little bit silly in your Facebook group or within your Facebook community. This is actually this question that I'm about to ask you, we actually use in our Facebook Lives on our Friday show that we're going to talk a little bit more about here in a bit. But I have to ask you a very, very important question, Wichita. In a fight between a shark and a bear,
Oh my God.
who would win? Okay, so let's see our Team Sharkers. Raise your hand. Oh, do we have an elaboration?
Where are they fighting?
I love that you asked this. Thank you. Yes, you're right, Patty. It is in a space station at zero gravity. Do we have any other questions? Because sometimes we do. Stacy, do you have any other questions? Huh?
No weapons.
No weapons?
Yeah.
Just their bodies?
Is it
shark and a bear. Show of hands for Team Shark ICT. Oh my God,
And Team Bear?
Team Bear. Team Bear.
Team Bear. And this is a fun way that this is something that you can do with your audience.
These are questions. They don't relate to your direct business at all, but they're fun, and people like to participate in things that are fun. Remember, we stopped scrolling on the cat videos.
That's a big timeout.
We keep scrolling past the informational news, boring text. Think about what is scroll stopping. You know, I know that there's a brand that I'm gonna look at that around Christmas time had a hilarious elf that ran around WSU Tech. And they filmed fun little videos with this elf that ran around WSU Tech.
Gee, who is that mean, Julie?
It's Andy right here in front with WSU Tech. It was fun and engaging. I don't have an interest in WSU Tech myself. I'm not looking to attend right now. I'm done with school. I'm not re-registering. But I'm following them because their content is fun and engaging. And then,
Please tell me you love it.
so when they provide fun and engaging content, I'm going to continue to follow their page and interact with their page, even though I have no plans to register for school anytime soon.
Isn't that nuts?
So think about that. Think about how you can build that community and that audience. You know, I know that there's a
You need to give them a real solid objective reason to be hanging out with you. Yeah, you're fun, you're entertaining, you do cool things, but also you're still providing them value. You can do this via video content, and if you do choose to use video, which you should, because video content is the most engaging type of content anywhere, on any social media platform. Make sure that you are captioning your video, because let's face it, how many of us watch video when we're at work? Okay.
Or the doctor.
You don't have to admit it. It's okay. How many of you listen to the video with the sound on? Cricket. We love you, Josh. Okay, so this is why it's important, because if they're watching your video, they're still getting that educational content from you, because you're doing them a service of captioning it for them. So they don't have to be rude at the doctor's office. They don't have to be exposed at work. And they're still getting all the information. So you're doing a very considerate thing when you caption your video content. But other types of educational content that you can be providing them is simple. If you've written a blog post, just make sure that you share that with your group. There's all kinds of ways that you can constantly be educating your Facebook group. So, guys, we're going to talk about Facebook Live. And we hate it. It's the worst.
How many times a week do we go live?
It depends on the week.
How many times last week did we go live?
I don't even know. I lost count.
It was at least 4 times a day as we did a Riverfest takeover.
It was amazing.
So we brought to you all the content information from Riverfest and all the cool things. On our page, we go live at least once a week, but usually upwards of 3. We go live in our group. We have a Monday morning conversation with members of our group, and we let them talk to us, and we say, hey, tell us what you have going on in your business, and tell us what we can help you with. We want to help you, and so that's part of the whole conversation in our group, is saying, what can we do to help you with this? Do you have an event coming up that we might bring you on our Friday show and talk about? Because our Friday show, which we're going to go into a little bit, is somewhere where we love to interact with our community. Do you have a workshop that we can share some information about? Do you have some breaking news in your industry? Or do you have a struggle with your social media? What can we do to help you? And by doing that in our group, we're getting that interaction back with our audience, but we're able to do it in real-time conversation right then and there with them. So they don't have to post their question, and we have to come back and type out a long-winded response. We can talk to them, just like we're talking to you right here. All right, so, ready? Well, my brand doesn't really have anything to talk about on live video. Says lots of brands. Okay, so how do you find the things to talk about? There are so many options. There are retail stores who can do a weekly live talking about their new products that they've gotten in. You can do the Monday morning check-in like we do. Our Friday show.
We love our Friday show, guys. This is our local hub in Wichita. We love Wichita so very much, as you can tell probably by now. But you can talk about your contest that you're running. If you're running a contest, that's a fun thing to talk about. If you have an event coming up, talk about your event. If you have a promotional item that you would like to make sure that your audience knows about, make sure you're talking about that. If you have a stance on something that's happening in your industry that you would like to discuss with your audience and maybe get their perspective on, talk about that. There's plenty to talk about on Facebook Live, guys. I could talk all day on Facebook Live. Let's go. I have to tell you this, and a lot of you have heard me say this before. Guys, the way
I don't like to see or hear myself on camera.
walking through life. Lots of humans. Okay, guys, here's the thing. I have to tell you this, and a lot of you have heard me say this before. Guys, the way that you look and sound on camera is the way that you're walking through life. People already love you, okay? So get on the camera and let them love you. It's the truth.
And here's the thing, for most of us, we will never like to hear ourselves.
Oh, we don't listen to ourselves very often.
I hate hearing my own voice back on video. And exactly, that's the thing, is our audience does love it. It's in your own head, and it's just something that, as humans, we struggle. We see all of the flaws, we hear all of the mistakes, because it is us, and we're going to be the most critical of ourselves.
Damn button. That's what we do.
You cannot hold yourself back because you're afraid of what you sound like or look like. You want to go into this with a thought-out process, but don't overthink it to the point of fear holding you back, because otherwise you'll never do it. Now, we saw earlier that a lot of you have gone live, which is awesome, because I don't always get that reaction. We sometimes see just a few hands that slowly inch up and be like, I tried it, I didn't like it, and then I didn't do it again. Get consistent and get regular with it, and you'll be more comfortable.
It's true. Yeah, I mean, in everything that we do in life, the more that we practice something, the better we get at it. So just rip off the band-aid. Do it. You will be doing yourself a huge favor if you go live, for sure.
And I can't afford all of that expensive equipment.
Say, people who are oblivious to the awesomeness that is Amazon. Okay.
So here's the thing. We've recently started upgrading our equipment, but when we started going live, the first thing we grabbed was our smartphone. Okay, I have to know, does everybody in here have a smartphone? Anybody still on a flip phone? Do we have any Motorola Razrs going on in the room? Okay, so we all have a super powerful camera in our hands. At all times, because
right now,
it's okay, but it's within reach. Most of us are not away from our phones for very long, very often, and they're not very far away. So you have a camera. All you need from there to improve what you're doing is a $15 mini tripod on Amazon to help you out. You can go with a bigger one if you need it standing, but there are options that are within your $15 to $30 range. They're not expensive. We went by and used a $12 lavalier mic for the past year and a half to improve the audio quality, and it worked great. We were able to grab that mic, clip it onto one of us, or set it
set it on the table right in front of us, so it wasn't just the phone audio. We've since upgraded. We're using some amazing equipment from a company called Iographer now, who gives us a little bit better video quality, as far as it's not the quality, because that's through camera, but we have a stabilization tool that we can hold it a little steadier. We have a little bit more robust tripod. We have a little bit higher end lavalier mic. But those aren't what you need right out the door. For under $50 and the phone you already own, you can start producing great quality content.
I love this so much. I love having conversations with people all day long, every day. But something really cool about Facebook Live is that you can do it with people who are everywhere. So even if you're not in the same room as me, I can still talk to you. And I think that that is an amazing thing. And so when you can do that with your brand, you can have a real life conversation with people who are interested in learning more about your brand. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
So the idea with Facebook Live is to not just get out there and be a talking head, provide some information, yada, 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 thanks, bye.
No.
It is to create these conversations. It's to say, hey, tell us in the comments what you think about this. Share with us your feedback on this item. And then when they respond to the comments, be like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. I'm so glad, Courtney, that you showed up and that you really felt that way about what was going on. You can talk directly back to those people. There is nothing more to makes people feel validated than you responding back to what they're typing. I've watched Facebook Lives where I've typed things in the comments, where people have asked things and we've answered them, and they don't acknowledge a single person that's answered them. You know how quickly I turn that Facebook Live off? I no longer want to sit there. They've asked a question, I've answered it, and they're making zero recognition that I've answered back. So talk back with your audience, because the more you talk back with your audience on Facebook Live, the more they're going to talk to you. And what is that doing? It's creating that engagement. And that engagement is going to have you ranked higher in the algorithms. So Facebook Live is a phenomenal way to get engagement on your page and to get you seen more often. Because let's face it, how many of you have heard the term pay to play? Do we want to have to pay to play though? There are certain things that are worth paying for. That 20% off coupon we talked about earlier, by all means, put a budget behind that and get that in front of the audience that is going to walk through your door and use that 20% off coupon. But the rest of your content, you want to be able to organically put out there and interact with them naturally.
Guys, when you're doing this, when you're having real-time conversations with people, you are interacting with them in a way that makes them feel valued. And when you feel valued, that leads you to be liked. Yeah. And then they know you. And then once they get to know you for a little while, hang out with you, have some conversations with you, feel nurtured, they trust you. And that's what you want, that's golden. Okay. All right, guys, so this show, this is our Friday show. It's called Depict This. We do this every Friday, and we do it at the Hopping Gnome. So thank you, Stacy, for always allowing us to do that. It's amazing. But what we do on this show is we highlight a leader in the Wichita community, or we highlight a nonprofit that is having an event, or we just talk about amazing things, people that are making waves in the community. We find somebody that's inspiring, that has a certain something to them, something that is going to make people want to take action around an idea. And we have them on our show, and we hang out at the Hopping Gnome. We have the lavalier mic on the table. There's a little bit of background noise. It's really cool. It's a happy hour show, though. And so we sit there, and we talk about them the whole entire show. We talk about our guests the entire show. We're building community, we're highlighting these people, we're giving them that local hug, and we're giving them the floor. Not necessarily talking about the kids.
For a lot of businesses, that's terrifying. To have a whole hour a week that is focused on somebody else. That's the whole point, and through that, we've been able to build a community that comes back week after
week after week and watches these videos. We have people who say, hey, I can't be on live today with you guys, but I'm gonna be back to watch the replay. And we know that they do because then they come back and comment through those replay as they're viewing it. It's building that community. It's finding that place that people are happy and comfortable to come back and be a part of every week.
All right, guys, so we've talked to you about how to do this and how rewarding it's going to be, but now we want to make it a little bit easier with you by just naming a few tools that have helped us out greatly and that we think would be of huge value to you. The first one being our awesome sponsor, Quick. These guys are amazing. They have a product that is fantastic, and they're doing the video caption. We talked about how important it is to caption your video. They make it really easy for you, so definitely keep that in mind and pay them a visit. I'll let you talk about ManyChat.
ManyChat is the tool that we use for Facebook Messenger marketing for our chatbot. There are other tools out there, and they're all great, but ManyChat is the one that we have partnered with. We are actually an agency partner with them, and we went through some certification to become a messenger marketing expert with them, which, as far as we know, I could be wrong, but as far as we know, we are the only in the Wichita community that has completed this certification. It was pretty rigorous, but it was rewarding and awesome. And so for us, ManyChat is the tool that we suggest and recommend. I know that there are, like I said, a handful of others. As we tested them out, we chose ManyChat because it had the right features for us and it had the right customer service on their end for us to get the answers we needed.
Next we have Agorapulse. And like I've always said, Agorapulse is golden for social listening, guys. Agorapulse provides you a wonderful, easy place for you to go through those comments from your Facebook Live or those comments that are on your post and chat back. It's all within one dashboard. You can see all of your comments from all your posts in a very timely fashion on your dashboard. And so all it takes is a comment back, acknowledging them. And when you do that, they feel important to you. And so they are going to keep coming back for more information from you and to keep building that experience with you.
And you guys saw the video beforehand from Agorapulse. They've got a fun sense of humor. It is an amazing tool that provides the analytics. It provides the engagement back with your audience. It provides the scheduling. And if you want 2 free months, you can use that code, depict 2 free, and it will give you 2 free months of Agorapulse. And we mentioned Iographer. Iographer is somebody that we've gotten to know closely. They are another amazing company that we love their products and their tools. We get no kickback from them on this other than that down earlier in the year they provided us with some equipment, but we're not getting anything for talking about them. We just love them. And so Iographer is one that we recommend you checking out for some video equipment.
With that, guys, we really appreciate you coming out today. We really appreciate seeing all of your faces in real life because, my gosh, we love interacting with you online. But when we can see you and take those selfies and give those hugs, it means the world to us.
Thank you so much. We're so happy that we were able to share this with you. If you guys have questions for us later, come find us. We're happy to interact and chat with you and see what we can answer or provide you any of those links. And we love you guys. Thank you.
All right, we do have some time for questions, but while we get ready for your questions, can we do that drawing for the Happy Gnomes ball cap and Susie? Do you have that here?
Yes, we have a crowler, koozie, and a baseball cap. And it's coming from Shannon.
All right, here we go. Raise your hands if you've got a question or two for Julie and Jen. I'll come to you. Anyone with questions? All right, go ahead and do the drawing.
I have Hannah Smith.
Give it up, give it up. Raise your hand again if you have a question.
Cheers to happy social media.
Thank you.
All right, we have some questions. Here we go.
So I realized you talked mainly on Facebook, but do you recommend the Facebook Live versus Instagram Live, and why do you prefer one over the other?
So what you want to figure out first is where is your audience at? Do you test both? Go live on Instagram, go live on Facebook. Find out where your audience is
engaging back with you. For us, our audience engaged back with us on Facebook, which is why we stuck with Facebook Live. We didn't find the interaction on Instagram Live as heavily. The other thing that's beautiful about the Facebook Live is I don't have to turn around and download the video and re-upload it somewhere if I want it to be saved. It lives right there within my Facebook library at all times, and people can come back and view those replays.
Jason just asked me, how long should your Facebook Live be?
You want to start with a minimum of 10 to 15 minutes. You have to get time for your audience to get on there and interact with you. From there, we sometimes go live upwards of an hour. But that's going to be dependent on your community, on your message, and on your audience. One of our Facebook Live show, we have a hard cutoff at 30 minutes. It is a 30-minute show. Our Friday show is, we've gone, I think, an hour and a half. But our audience was interacting that entire time. Watch your audience. If you see that viewer count start to drop, if you see your audience start to stop, they're no longer commenting with you, then wrap it up and say, you know, okay, I feel like we've gotten to this, we've shared everything, thank you so much, and we look forward to everyone who comes back and watches the replay. Always acknowledge your replay viewers.
I have a question, so it kind of ties into that. So here's a sad story. You go on Facebook Live, you're excited, and nobody comes. So should you stop, or should you keep going, pretending someone's there and save the video? Or should you start over a little later until somebody shows up?
Oh my gosh, David, this is a great question. In our opinion, you gotta keep going. You gotta keep going, and here's the reason, because she mentioned your replay viewers. Your replay viewers are just as worthy of your time as your live viewers. So you wanna make sure that you're being considerate of everyone's time. So keep going. Keep providing the value. Your video is going to be a little bit shorter because you're not going to be having a real-time conversation with anybody, but keep providing the value and make it engaging. Make it engaging, even though there's nobody really engaging with you at the time.
The other thing with that is, don't wait to start delivering your message until you see viewers. When you hop online, immediately start into what your message is. Don't sit here and go, okay guys, we're going to hang out and wait and see if anybody's joining us. Because you're going to lose your replay viewers. They're not going to watch through you waiting to see if anybody joined you live. Jump in. Immediately start with your message. If people are jumping on live, then interact with them. And if they're not, continue to deliver your message and then wrap it up and come back and make sure you come back and talk to those replay viewers that have commented on there.
Hi ladies. Hey. I do a Facebook Live every Wednesday night, so tune in tonight at 7 p.m. We love your show. And I am also doing Instagram Live at the same time, which has its own challenges. One's horizontal, one's vertical, it's really weird. But I noticed, so after my video, I go and post more things on Instagram, and it seems like my live Instagram is immediately disappearing. Like people are commenting, which I need to go back and reference those comments because they're purchasing things. Okay, go. What's going on, and how can I go back and get those comments?
I don't think you can, Patty. I know that you're hanging home. Wouldn't that be wonderful? That would be a wonderful addition to that platform for sure, because, you know, in Facebook, you can always see the comments no matter when. You can watch the replay, you can get the comments, and unfortunately with Instagram, your videos stay up for 24 hours, but comments are gone. Yeah, so what you should probably do is have somebody man your Instagram comments specifically.
I find that my videos disappearing for 24 hours.
That's just frustrating.
Yeah.
I don't have an answer for that, Patty, but we can look into it for you for sure. Yeah.
We've got one more question back here. While I'm walking, give us a closing thought that you would like to leave us with, and then we'll take one more question.
All right, guys. So we just want to make sure that you get the gravity of how important it is to work on nurturing and building your community on your social media channels. It's not all about likes. It's not about the vanity metrics. It's about the actual experience that people are having with your brand.
And we know that this takes time.
And suddenly now you're being ranked lower and lower. So plan out, block an hour, 2 hours a time, 1 or 2 times a week, and really focus on where you're going to post, what you're going to post, and how you're going to engage back with that audience, because you have to put the work in.
Thanks for the closing comments. One more question. Do you recommend, especially if you're new to the Facebook Live world, I've always done mine just spontaneously. Do you recommend, though, if you're going to start building a regular show or that type of thing, that you let your audience know in advance by saying, check us out on Wednesday, letting them know in advance so they can hopefully watch for that, or just get on there and do it? And I know there's pros and cons to both, so.
Yeah, so there are always times to go live spontaneously. And we do it all the time where we just pop on, and we will find that our viewership on those is not that great. But as you build that regular consistent, if you have a time you're going live, create a branded graphic for your social media that you can put on your Instagram stories, you can put on your Facebook stories, and you can put on your page that tells everybody, I'm going to be live at this time. If you have a guest, make sure you're highlighting who your guest is or what your topic is, because that's going to be what's going to be bring your viewers into that live for them to watch consistently.
All right, give it up for Jen and